All right. This is going to be a new experience for me. Casting a scrim and having to observe. So, see how it goes. I'm going to ask them. Can I type in chat? Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I'll have this little bit of dead air at the beginning. Not going to fill it. God, I'm sending this VOD to people, so they're all going to hear my little ramblings at the beginning. Hi, people. I'm going to mispronounce your names, probably. Igloo, Adzi, Emote, Ronful, and The Shadow. Just make sure the recording's working. Yeah, it is. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. That's embarrassing. That's in the VOD now. I hope the audio quality's good. I did test before, but OBS sometimes screws me. Oh, yeah. This is gonna be weird because every game I've casted up until this point, I have some level of knowledge of the teams I'm casting. So, like, even with when I casted Guidance and Vivo Key, both teams I'd never watched a match of, I was able to go on Wikipedia and learn about them and all of that stuff. Oh, I should ask what people's team names are. Yeah. I know Dronful's on something Crows. I think like Condemned Crows. Blue Flame Esports. Cryptic Crows and Blue Flame Esports. I'm gonna put that somewhere. Remember it. Uh yeah. So we have Koji on Blue Flamed Esports. Alright. Dude, this is gonna be so weird to observe and cast at the same time. Alright, names is a name I can pronounce. Slin. Sline. I think I'll go with Slin. I say that now, and who knows what comes out of my mouth when we actually do the cast. All of this rambling is gonna be in the VOD. I'm a fool for starting it this early. Hey, I gotta fill dead air somehow. I can't talk about their stats. I can't talk about what's going into the match coming because I know nothing about the players or the teams. Dessert. All right, that's an easy name to know too. I hope I get these teams' names in my head soon, like the players and all that. And so, who's the final one? I got 24 minutes, and then they kick us out of the dedicated server. because UB has a timer on it. I mean, I know why. They don't want people sitting on their servers, but I feel like, I don't know, couldn't they allocate it some other way so, like, you're not actually sitting in a server in the lobby? Who knows? And King. Okay, cool. Alright, let's start this. Alright, getting into the match. We're gonna have the Cryptic Crows versus Blue Flamed Esports in a best of 2. This is just a scrim, so it's possible the teams are going to be experimenting more than necessarily trying to go for the W. But nevertheless, I'm going to be treating this as if it was an official-ish comp match, and talking less about exploring strats and more about what's actually actively happening. As I was saying in all that rambling, in case people skip past it, this is my first time actually observing a match simultaneously while casting, so I apologize if either part struggles a bit. The first ban coming in from Blue Flamed Esports is going to be the Nomad. So they're definitely going to be wanting to play a more aggressive style of coastline and prevent some of the shutdown tools available to a Nomad. The Jackal ban coming out from Cryptic Crows is going to allow them to roam a bit more freely on their defenses, and will punish teams that are a bit less adequate at their roam clear. Miraban is nothing crazy or surprising. It's an EU team versus an EU team. You can see that from their pings, but my own ping is going to be great because I'm NA. And the final ban coming in will most likely be Echo or Maestro, as that is what every team in the world bans. And indeed, it's going to be the Maestro. This means the Echo will still be in play, so we're likely going to be seeing him in a large number of these rounds. And to compensate, the Cryptic Crows are going to have to be bringing the IQ if that Echo starts to be a problem. There's actually a lot of intel ops still left on the field, despite the Maestro ban, that are fantastic on coastline, namely Valkyrie, Pulse, Echo, and you can see that Blue Flamed Esports has already grabbed 2 of them, and of course, Cryptic Crows bringing the IQ. They would 6-pick off of it, most likely, if there's nothing there for her, but they're going to see all of this intel ops available, and they're going to stick to the IQ. Hard Breacher being brought out on Coast, which is unique for teams. Many teams have elected to just not bring the Hard Breach on Coastline, and there's not going to be any 6 picks as we get right into the match. So it's going to be a double bar setup to start with. A lot of teams will prefer Kitchen or Hookah as their primary bomb site, and it's possible that is the case with Blue Flamed Esports, but they want to try out the double bar setup first. And it looks like they're going to actually be extending into Kitchen, at least partially. As you can see, the Pulse starting to work on some reinforcements there. What I'm curious about is this back wall. Indeed, it is being shot out, so default plant can be denied. It's possible, then, the Echo might be playing closer around the lobby door courtyard side and being able to deny that using the long range of his ACOG, or it might be the Jaeger. You can see barbed wire being set up on the door as well. A bit of a late prep, but it seems all the reinforcements are in place, and it is a pretty heavy Kitchen side defense. We can see a couple members of the Cryptic Crows right now angling in from the lobby door side. As you can see, the IQ going on up, while the Capitao is going to join the rest of his teammates that are pushing in from the western side. Doubling up on the soft bridge are the Cryptic Crows, as you have both Buck and Sledge. It's actually going to be Sledge going up top as the Buck starts to work his way in from the office side. He has one player inside of security, and said player is the Jaeger of Slyn, who has mute jammers here to protect him as he wants to contest this area. The Buck does know about it, and pre-fires come out, allowing him to cross a bit safer. So far, there hasn't quite been an engagement just quite yet. You can see a lot of players. I really like this for King on the Pulse. He's giving all of the intel on where the office players are to the Jaeger after rotating into courtyard, and there's no one around to contest him from the Cryptic Crows. You can see the Capitao working as the main player from the northwest entrance. Echo, meanwhile, being tasked with holding the side by himself, the Kitchen side, and the Nitrocell will be used up by the Pulse, but it doesn't quite connect with anything just yet. You have the Sledge currently of Shadow working in tandem with the IQ from above, trying to force the defenders into some disadvantaged positions, as a lot of double bar is contestable from the top floor, and doesn't look like there's any top floor contests from these defenders. And the first kill is actually going to be, thanks to the Sledge, up above, getting the player behind Sunrise Bar. That was the mute. That's going to open up Sunrise quite significantly, as dislodging the player behind Sunrise Bar is typically quite important to making this attack work. And you can hear the Capital bolts going out as the Hibana will try and go for the plant, but the Legion grenade will stop him. The Capital is going to cut down one as they fire through, suppressing fire through their smoke, and the plant will be completed successfully by the Hibana, 5v3. And the Pulse will be taken down by the IQ. It's going to be all up to the Jaeger and the Echo. You can see the Echo has retaken control of Sunrise, and the Jaeger coming in is cut down through the rotate. It's all on the Echo in a 1v5 situation. Things are not looking good for him, and indeed the Sledge will come in from behind and take him down. The biggest difference maker I feel in this round definitely had to be the lack of a top floor contention from Blue Flamed Esports. They went for a very horizontal roam, but unfortunately for them, Cryptic Crows didn't want to contest really any of it. The closest was the office contention with the Jaeger and the Pulse working together, but that's still a hard gunfight for the Jaeger to take into office, so the Buck was still able to position himself in there, waste the time of two players, and the Sledge and IQ pretty much had free reign of the top floor. They're going to be swapping over to Hookah now, and King is going to be getting off of the Pulse and onto the Vigil, trying to work against some of the drone game and intel available to the Cryptic Crows, but he's going to be dropping some of the intel his team had. The smoke coming out for Hookah defense is nothing too surprising either, so we'll see if they have better luck on this top floor site. Again, their main problem on the bottom floor was just not contesting top floor at all, and obviously now they're on top floor, they actually have to work on it. And Hookah lends itself a bit more to a horizontal spread, as while a Buck can go down below attacking Hookah and dislodge people through Blue Bar and Sunrise, it's not quite as effective or easy as the Sledge going up top. There's a number of positions that can still be played to great effect, even with a Buck down below. You have to get a lot more horizontal control, and because Cryptic Crows likes to run the Hibana, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Hibana either go here towards VIP or go up top to the roof and try and open up these long angles to cut off the player playing by the couch in Sunrise. Smoke spot, as it is often called. You don't see a lot of lineup changes on the side of Cryptic Crows, which is something that's kind of become the standard for attackers lately. They'll pick out one lineup that can deal with just about everything and make it work. You can see a lot of drone intel coming out for Shadow on the Sledge, as there are two players inside of the Sunrise Bar area. That's going to be the Jaeger and the Vigil. The Vigil will be droned out and taken down shortly by the IQ of Adzi. An unfortunate start to the round for Blue Flame Esports, and once again, the Cryptic Crows will get the opening pick. You can see the Echo on his drone. He's actually going to be able to catch an IQ drone out in the process as well. So good use of the gadget by the IQ. That's going to cost a lot of utility on the side of Blue Flame Esports. You can see the Jaeger still contesting from Sunrise Bar. He's likely going to have to deal with this IQ or Buck shortly. And more droning coming out from the IQ, but have they droned out this Jaeger's position? Indeed, it seems they have, as the Buck tries to fire shots in his direction. Sun's going to get into an engagement with the IQ, but the IQ is going to do more damage than he was dealt, and the Buck will come around the corner of Igloo, taking down the Jaeger. Meanwhile, a run out from Koji will not be successful because of the Claymore, and it's all on the Smoke and the Echo, the two operators you would want in this clutch position, and Names getting the kill on Emo will take down the Capitao. That's a huge pick, and the Smoke can continuously stall, but he still has a minute to work with, and the Buck could knock him out of his position. And indeed, a nade's going to come out, and the flashbang is going to be the only thing that keeps him alive for a couple more seconds, as no attackers can swing on him just quite yet. But with his teammate down, Desert once again finds himself in a 1vx situation, but this time it's only a 1v4. He could still do some damage with this long angle, but there's going to be players maneuvering in from the blue stairs and down below to try and dislodge his position. The Echo's going to start pushing up, but Shadow's going to take down the smoke. Desert will land one onto Drawnful as Thebana goes for the plant, but Shadow is there to shut him down, and the Cryptic Crows shoot out to an early 2-0 lead. So far, it seems the roam game of Blue Flamed Esports just not on par with the roam clear coming out from the Cryptic Crows. A lot of intel available thanks to their drone work, and they're pinching down these roamers quite effectively, leaving the anchors in clutch situations. And of course, that's a hard situation to be in if you are an anchor. The Vigil in particular not having a ton of impact on that round as he was droned out, ironically enough, quite efficiently and immediately pinched from Kitchen and Blue Bar side. That left the Jaeger on an island behind Sunrise, and the Cryptic Crows, they made sure to dot their I's and cross their T's and actually pinch him out of Sunrise, instead of leaving Sunrise up to chance and not realizing that the Jaeger was there because of poor drone work. So good showing of the fundamentals of intel gathering coming out from the Cryptic Crows so far, at least as far as I can see. And the hookah side is going to be re-attempted. The real thing I'm curious about here, especially with King switching to the alibis, he definitely wants to try and throw off the intel and punish reactionary shots on the side of Cryptic Crows. He's also going to have a lot more utility in the form of that pocket bailiff to open up some sightline. But I want to see what kind of adaptations they make to contest this lower floor area. In particular, if they're going to play anyone on blue stairs, and it looks like they will as they have ADSs and barbed wire set up. We might see the Echo play there, who can help out his roamers. Once again, you're going to see the Cryptic Crows coming in primarily from the western side of the building. They really like to enter from this office kitchen side. And yep, the IQ is going to be the one solo entering from the kitchen side. She does have to deal with an alibi, but it looks like she's at least aware as the pre-fires come out from Ad Z. And he's going to drone out the alibi on his flank. Drone tries to take the shot, but the bars are going to get in his way as he double-checks his drone. And the alibi retreating out through the bathroom. Once again, pre-fires coming out in the alibi's direction, but to no avail. We're seeing the IQ doing a lot of solo droning, trying to get this kill onto the alibi, when he could possibly have a teammate hop on it. Instead, it looks like the alibi finally found his drone, and it's actually the Jaeger now who's being spotted out on the second drone. A Yokai is going to catch IQ, and that information is now going to be available to the defenders of Blue Flamed Esports. You can see the Buck of Igloo working his way in, but he's going to take some damage, I believe, from the holes up above him, as he starts to maneuver in and try and help with this pinch. They know about the Jaeger's position, and Igloo getting a free kill onto the Jaeger as a result, but the alibi is going to swing and get the refrag. So signs of life in the roam game from Blue Flamed Esports this time. The IQ having a lot of trouble with this Yokai drone, unable to find it, but meanwhile the sledge of Shadow will shut down the alibi of King. So the roam game now finally dealt with, but this time they were able to burn half the round and actually get a pick in the process. So the anchors of Smoke, Legion, and Echo in a decent position for once. The IQ is actually going to hit an alibi, but she will take it out finally. And you can see the Capitao just holding this angle, daring someone to peek out of the balcony door. This is the Claymore that I believe caught Koji previously, as Shadow will take down names. And now that your smoke is out of the picture, that's a tough position to be in if you're Blue Flamed. You can see the impact grenade prepped by the Legion, and it sets him up for the run out, but he's not able to connect the shots. He will finally get it onto the Capitao, but the plant is going down by the Hibana. And Legion unable to find anything else on the runouts, as Drawnful will successfully complete the plan. The IQ will find the Echo, and before I could even swap to the Legion, Sledge is there to shut him down, and the Cryptic Crows will go up 3-0 so far on their attacking half. The roam game bearing a lot more fruit this time around for Blue Flamed Esports, but their plant denial not so successful. Every time thus far that Cryptic Crows has gone for the plant, it's pretty much been successful. The one exception was in round 2 where Drawnful got gunned, but at that point it was a 5-on-1 or 4-on-1 situation for the Echo. And it didn't really matter that Drawnful got gunned, as there was the immediate trade by the Sledge. Blue Flamed Esports, they're running a lot of denial in the form of the Echo and the Smoke, but yet they're not really stalling out the plant that much. They're not really capitalizing on anything to deny that plant. They also don't have anything in the form of C4s, so all of their plant denial is actually going to be of the non-deadly form. This means that even if they are stalling out the plant and I'm not witnessing it, ultimately that's all they're doing is stalling it, because they can't get these kills. And while stalling the plant is all well and good, when your roamers are only wasting half of the round, stalling the plant out is not going to be enough to actually win the round. Either your roamers have to be significantly more effective, or the attackers have to be executing A-Law Vitality style, and then a single smoke canister can spell disaster as they try and rush in and overwhelm the site. I like the aggressive playmaking coming out from Blue Flame Esports in the form of Koji, reading when to go for that run out onto the Capitao to try and shut down one of the most execute-focused operators, but ultimately, the Capitao is still kind of doing his job, and Koji's kills are a little bit too late. They're going to be trying Hookah once again, and again you see the Sunrise hold trying to be attempted. They're not as focused on Kitchen, but the Alibi will go back towards it, and the IQ has the drone of Drawn Full to give him intel, but the Alibi will take it out. And you can see they're set up for an engagement here with the IQ of Adzi once more. Just waiting to see if the IQ peeks around and goes for the pre-fire, and ultimately is not successful as the IQ was just holding an off angle that the Alibi wasn't expecting. That's huge for Cryptic Pros, as previously on the Roam, King was the primary success maker, and the Buck is going to take down the Jaegers. The Roam game, again, not paying dividends for the side of Cryptic Crows. Names will take down the Capitao once again, but not before Shadow takes down the Legion, and it's all up to the Smoke and the Echo, and there's almost 2 minutes still remaining as these gas canisters are coming out. He's realized he's whiffed that canister a little bit, peeks around out of a bit of confusion, and Shadow takes him down pretty effortlessly. The Echo, still on his yokais, is going to be a free pickings for the Sledge. Poor decision-making, really, on the part of the Echo. Once you're in a 2v5 situation like that, when they're bombarding the site, or rather 2v4, because the Capitao was taken down, you really need that ACOG in play, and having your dead teammates being the ones primarily using those Echo drones, especially when there's almost 2 minutes left on the clock. You're not stalling out the plant with a yokai burst. Even if you pull them off of it, it's really to little avail, and against a competent attacking team, that's just going to be the signal that the Echo is on his drones for some reason. We can bombard the Smoke, and the refrag is going to be pretty damn hard for the Echo to get in time. Blue Flame Esports, after losing 4 defenses in a row, are going to elect to abandon the hookah site that they failed 3 times. And honestly, one of the big things that I think they can work on in terms of making that hookah defense work is they need to stop having their roamers here in Sunrise without support. It's relying pretty heavily on the individual roamers' playmaking potential, and there's no chance of really refrags coming out, especially when Kings just abandons the Jaeger after the first 15 seconds of the action phase to contest Kitchen. If you want to contest Kitchen, then you have to bring in a player possibly towards the lobby side that can assist the Jaeger on that endeavor. Or sorry, the Alibi on that endeavor. Or you just don't contest Kitchen and set up a crossfire here on Sunrise, making the Jaeger hard to dislodge. In particular, you still have blue stairs that you put utility on. Something like an Echo playing there would help a lot, or even the Legion, to give another angle to try and get refrags for the Jaeger. But the Kitchen defense is something we haven't quite seen from them yet, and they're actually going to be dropping the Echo. Looks like we're going to have a pretty heavy service side entrance from the Cryptic Crows. These mute jammers having a little bit of an effect in delaying intel, but there's still everything available on B site. The IQ, though, running straight into one of the mute jammers means that they won't really be able to drone out the Kitchen side. It looks like, once again, Cryptic Crows wants to extend to the top floor and have their Buck and Sledge do some work. And you have the Bandit trying to contest the lobby side. We might be seeing a potential run out coming out at some point, and you actually have, on the Sunrise side, both the Jaeger and the Vigil playing together. The Vigil of Kings going into Luggage, and you have the Bandit of Koji now set up at the top of Luggage stairs. Hopefully, Kings isn't going to be planning on going into this top floor control being established by the Sledge and the Buck. And actually, the Bandit's going to be the first one to flank in, taking down the Buck by himself. An impressive shot that I believe came from the theater side. And that's going to make things a bit more difficult for the side of Cryptic Crows. But they still have the Sledge available for this vertical destruction. Vigil is still up top alongside the Jaeger, but they're really not going to have a huge impact on this northwestern side as Cryptic Crows doesn't want to put too much emphasis on it. But nevertheless, it looks like Shadow's actually going to be challenging the Vigil, who falls on off. Capitão's going to drone out the position of the Bandit, and it looks like the clear is being attempted now from the Capitão, the IQ, and the Sledge. Sledge is going to open up behind the Bandit. He's going to fire in, but ultimately cannot connect the shots. But Adzi is there for the refrag on the IQ, but you've lost all of your vertical control. Dronful is going to take down the Vigil as well, and now your only top floor roamer is the Jaeger, still on an island inside of Hookah. Not realizing that they really didn't contest the Billiard side. And this position, while I would like it if they were coming in from the southwest, that doesn't seem to be the plan from the Cryptic Crows. If the Jaeger had played closer to the Vigil, it's possible he could have gotten the refrag and kept man advantage for his team. But the biggest benefit is the Roamers have picked off their soft floor control, and there's only 24 seconds. Adzi landing a beautiful shot through the soft wall will delete the Echo, and that's going to actually set them up. The Capitão bolts coming in from above to try and cover for the plant, but it's not enough. But Adzi just on a rampage. 10 seconds left, but the shotgun's going to be their demise as Names picks up the 1v2 clutch and giving his team their first victory. Excellent playmaking from the Mute. And that's going to shut down the Cryptic Crows on that doomed push. The roam game of Blue Flamed Esports having a lot more success that time around in terms of getting that pick onto the Sledge, and the Buck was huge. You saw the Capitão really couldn't do as much denial from above as he wanted, just because there weren't holes. And when you're down to a 3v3 or a 3v2 because IQ landed that beautiful shot a couple seconds afterwards, keeping one man up top in that sort of execute position is a bit of a gamble. Had the Capitão rotated down, and I understand why he was up there, he wanted to try and deny from above and hopefully cut off a rotate, but you just simply didn't have the holes for that to work or the manpower. And thus there was no refrag or playmaking potential onto the Mute, setting up Names for the clutch as they had 10 seconds and had to rush in. Had he perhaps pushed with Dronful on the Hibana, it's possible that the Mute wouldn't have been able to take him out. Hookah Sight's going to be coming out again from Blue Flamed Esports, and they're going to be looking to try and make it work for once. The thing I really want to see from them that I haven't seen that much is players in positions to really get trades and refrags from one another. We've seen on a number of Cryptic Crows attacks so far, trades and refrags have been coming out pretty frequently. The big thing that denied them the man advantage in that previous round was the fact that King somehow got a kill on the Buck, and unfortunately I wasn't able to catch because, again, I'm quite new to observing. But that seemed to be all it took to to put a dent into Cryptic Crow's push as King got his pick and backed off. So I did like the patient play there. I just wish that the Jaeger and Vigil read a bit earlier that they didn't need to be contesting Hookah so hard. They could have rotated up with King and really focused on the other side. Hookah side control doesn't give that much to the attack on a kitchen defense site, so contesting it, while decent in the early game, a lot of teams will read into the fact they can just rotate and go from the VIP guitar hallway side. Vigil already trying to contest, and he's going to actually possibly deny those Hibana X-Kairos pellets. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like a couple of them still detonated. No, all of them were stopped, I believe, by the impact. It's a good playmaking from Koji here on the Vigil, but his position is going to be revealed now, especially when he gets droned out. The Jaeger being taken down by the Buck as well. And this Yokai drone has been a good harassing force against the IQ, but ultimately hasn't been enough and could possibly be used elsewhere. You can see the Buck of Igloo trying to contest with the Legion up above, as he has intel available thanks to these drones. And yeah, that puts Kings in a tough situation. Igloo's able to capitalize on that kill pretty handedly. No refrag coming out from the side of Blue Flame Esports. But you do see a Yokai drone working with the Vigil to try and set him up to take down this Buck. He's going to spot him out, and it's possible we'll be seeing a ping coming out soon. Yep, that's going to set up the Vigil for a free kill. An excellent playmaking there from the Vigil. That's going to give them back control of blue bars, as some of the vertical pressure being applied will be no more. However, man advantage still in favor of Cryptic Crows, especially as Names runs right into a Claymore. That was a Claymore that we saw come out before, and ultimately, they didn't realize it, as Desert will peek into the Capitao to his demise. Drawnful getting the plant off will leave Koji in a 1v4 clutch situation. And he's just going to be gunned as he's spotted out by the IQ down below. Now these holes that the Buck made from below will work against him, as players can peek it from above. Koji trying to go prone. He knows that the IQ is cutting off his rotate, and Shadow gets the call to just peek the holes up above and do some damage on the sledge. And at the half, that's going to be the Cryptic Crows going up 5-1, a dominant attacking side. But we'll have to see if Blue Flame Esports has something to say on their own attacks. They don't have to worry as much about roaming together when they don't have to roam. One of the advantages of being on the attack, and typically we do talk more about defensive advantages, as the game has skewed a bit to a defender-sided meta on the majority of maps, but one of the advantages you do have on the attack is the ability to drone for each other, give each other intel, and allow people to take gunfights based on that. We normally talk about defense having a lot more intel available, but it wasn't really being run by the Cryptic Crows in terms of like Valkyries and the like that could help them take those engagements. And we saw that the one time they actually put a Yokai drone in front of one of their fraggers, it had a lot of success. Koji was able to get the pick onto the Buck and give his team a winning chance in the round. But again, they were playing so sporadically and separate that it made it quite easy for the Cryptic Crows to just pinch them out. Another thing about attack is that just by its nature, you have to be together. You don't get isolated nearly as easily on attack as you do on defense, and that should help them play for trades a lot more. You also don't have to worry about reinforcing and setting up areas of the map that just aren't going to be contested by the Crows. We have a very aggressive lineup coming out from Blue Flamed Esports. You have the Ashe, the Zofia, and the Twitch, all operators with fantastic guns. They have a lot of utility in the form of destruction, but without Maestro on the board, there's not a whole lot of soft destruction that's strictly necessary by the Zofia and the Ashe. But it is going to be a lot of firepower, as you can see Names and King working together to try and clear out. They have some drones in front of them, and that's going to give them blue bar and office control. But there's not a heavy contention coming in to those areas by the side of Cryptic Crows. You can see they've actually set up quite a bit here on the top floor of Theater to allow Drawnful to try to play along with the Echo drone, but he's going to abandon Theater as it doesn't seem like the push is coming quite in there. You also have the Legion set up above Courtyard to try and cut the rotates of the attackers off, which could be quite effective if he hasn't been thrown out. Ashe trying to set herself up with a long angle, and it looks like there is a player wanting to peek into it, and I think that is that the smoke of Adzi? No, he's just peeking around, trying to play around the bomb chassis, as Drawnful is going to get into an early engagement with Names on the Zofia. They're both going to exchange some blows, and Shadow's going to be called into his system, and Igloo also down here to try and help them fight for refrags. The drone is going to spot out Drawnful, and Shadow's going to pick up a two-piece inside of the office area. Igloo's going to tag on with another as a player tries to rotate and help out, but Drawnful will be downed and taken out by Names on the Zofia. So the first refrag coming out from Blue Flame Esports. Names having the intel about Shadow on the Jaeger, but it doesn't matter as he'll be taken down quite effectively by the Jaeger. It's all up to the Twitch in a 1v4. She's got the firepower for it, but nothing else really. And she's going to try and take these engagements with the Hamas. He's going to get one onto Shadow. That's going to shut down the Jaeger, but he still has to find 3 more, and against an Echo, Smoke, and a Legion with 50 seconds on the board, a beautiful shot onto Igloo will take him out, and he sees the Echo. It looks like the players of Cryptic Crows, despite having a huge advantage, are just a bit too spread out. They're giving Twitch the ones that he needs, and he's going to be able to delete Adzi coming down from the Cool Vibe stairs. It's a 1v1 against the Echo. What looked to be an unwinnable situation for the Twitch will quickly become winnable, as the Cryptic Crows get a bit too aggressive, not letting the Twitch just push into them, and instead trying to play some of these crossfires, but ultimately not peaking at the right times together and giving the FAMAS a lot of ones. That's the last thing you want to do when you're against a Twitch. Thankfully, since it is just an Echo in play and there's only 10 seconds left, the denial from the Yokai drone is definitely going to be coming in. The first one comes out. It's going to reposition the Yokai as the Twitch tries to run over, but she's got 0 seconds. Tries to go for the pre-fire, and that's an easy clutch for the Echo. But, man, it got close. As we saw the Twitch just go on a rampage there. Taking names, despite his name not being names. What a round. You can see Shadow going 14-2, definitely stepping up for her team, especially in these later rounds on the Jaeger, but also entry fragging with the Sledge. One of the things Cryptic Crows was doing on their defense that allowed them to get a lot more early control and a much bigger man advantage compared to Blue Flamed Esports during theirs was just the fact that you saw them constantly working together and fighting for refrags. And in addition, they contested the parts of the map that were important. You saw Drawnful very early in the round being called off the vertical hold as they realized, possibly just from knowing spotting out the lineup, or just from a call based on the way the round was going, vertical pressure was not being applied by the side of Blue Flamed Esports. So this theater area that I was talking about, despite being so influential to attacking Kitchen, didn't matter to be contested by the defense if the attack didn't want it. They were going more for this western side sunrise control to try and push into Kitchen from the double bar area and make that work. So the early call from Drawnful to be called in, and then you saw this contestation from Courtyard, was good adaptation on the part of Cryptic Crows, and we're going to need a lot of adaptation if Blue Flamed Esports wants to pull this back. You've seen them all spawn together as well, which, if they're spawn peaks or something, isn't bad, but one of the issues with spawning together means you can't rapidly take out all 3 cams. You definitely want players to be at least somewhat close to each other, and the players that are going to be pushing into certain areas definitely should be. But something you can do is just spawn in every single spawn and immediately wipe out the cams. Now, they know about one player, and that's the mute, I believe, of Igloo, positioned here in the office trying to contest it with the shotgun. A lot of drones have been denied by the mute, and they're going to be just sending drone after drone, and he gets his head deleted by name. But the shot coming out from, I believe, the Jaeger of Shadow is going to down out the Ash and do a lot of damage as he maneuvers in for the flank to try and capitalize on the kill they set up from office side. Good drone work setting up the entry frag there from names on the side of Blue Flamed Esports. And the Sophia concussions and the like also being sent in, definitely paying dividends. And we can see Shadow just waiting for her opportunity to flank in, but the pre-fires coming in are gonna dissuade her as she completely falls off. Blue bar has been opened up, so this time there is going to be vertical pressure applied, at least in part, by the side of... Where the hell was that? The smoke! Landing a beautiful shot from above using these holes against him, but Slyn, once again, proven to be a detriment with the FAMAS, and right as I say that, Shadow will take him down. The Twitch out of the picture, as Shadow will now start to fall back. She's on this roam mostly by herself. You can see there's no support from her, as the only 2 members of Cryptic Crows left are the 2 anchors, and it looks like Shadow's actually going to fall back and go towards the theater side now, and that's going to leave Blue Bar clear for the attack. But there's only 1 impact left on the part of the Zofia. There's not a lot of vertical pressure that can be applied. Otherwise, Shadow now being contested pretty heavily inside of Penthouse by, I believe, the Hibana of Desert as she opens up the long angle. Blue Flame Esports also running the hard breach, and she's now going to solo challenge Shadow. I'm curious if they have any teammates around to assist. No, it's just going to be left up to the Hibana to try and hold Shadow down. You can see this long angle that's been set up, and it looks like Shadow has rotated all the way over to the VIP side. The first gas canister is going to prevent Koji for committing to the plant, but Desert's going to take down Shadow. Emote, though, getting the refrag on to names. These Blue Flamed Esports once again with very little time, but the smoke has been down and the Echo's taking a lot of damage. He can't quite stay on his yokai this time around. He's going to whiff on the bearing, and Desert's there with a bearing of her own to take down Adzi. A good answer back from Blue Flamed Esports on their attack, despite it looking really dire in those final few seconds. The down on the smoke being huge. And I'm sorry, I'm missing all of the action I have never observed before, so this is a bit of a learning curve for me, but I'm trying my best to predict and catch things. I'm just not doing a great job. Blue Flame, though, doing a better job here on their attacks in terms of staying together, and you're seeing it work out. There's none of these lopsided man counts that we saw previously on their defenses because they're not solo roaming as much. Shadow trying to make a lot work on the Jaeger and is often finding herself in those solo roam positions. But nevertheless, she's making it work with 15 and 3, and she typically does have support at the beginning of the round. It's just when her other roamers die that she's going to be left a bit more on her own. We're going to see the hookah site once again re-attempted by Cryptic Crows, realizing that it came pretty close. And if they tighten some stuff up, they might be able to make it work. One of the things I want to see from Blue Flamed Esports is if they once again commit to this entry from the office side. And we saw there the mute set up to contest it. So Cryptic Crows reading in well to how Blue Flame likes to enter this map. And they were able to punish them for it to a degree. But they lost more than they really gained. The heroics of Shadow being the main thing that kept them in that round. And they're going to need a little bit more than just that. These late reinforcements coming out from the mute could be disastrous, as Blue Flame really likes to get into office almost immediately. But they are going to finish up what they wanted to do, and Shadow is here to assist as well as the door finally starts to get opened up by the Ash of King. And he's going to spot out Shadow, but Shadow will decapitate the Ash for her troubles. A good read from the Jaeger as they now set down their barbed wire. And they're still going to be focusing on contesting the office side, but it looks like the call has been made for Blue Flame to just abandon it and go over towards the hookah balcony. We're going to see the Zofia opening up the window with an impact grenade, and it's just going to be a rush overwhelm into the site. Koji's going to get one onto Adzi, and Dronful has been downed as the plant starts to go down by names. The mute's gonna have to try and make some magic happen there, but the plan's gonna be pretty successful as Shadow gets decapitated by Koji. So an excellent read from Blue Flame Esports, spotting the hole in the defense. Emote, though, will get one onto Koji, but he's ultimately in a 1v3 as Dronful is still down. Slind will get the confirm onto that kill, and the smoke's just gonna fire off all of their gas canisters to give themselves some cover to push into the hookah bar side. But still, not a whole lot you can do on the smoke in this situation. The Twitch is going to eat a little bit of damage, but she can now flank around and decapitate the smoke. Those concussions just making it impossible for Emo to see what's going on as Blue Flame tries to fight back here on their attacks. I don't know if this was intentional, but if it was, excellent job from Blue Flame conditioning the members of Cryptic Crows into contesting that office side. They know that Blue Flame likes to go in from the office side, likes to push into Blue Bar, and as a result, they're going to be a bit lacking on their defensive side. Yeah, they lost King to the push into office, but the immediate rotate once they realized there were two members completely offside contesting parts of the map that would not affect a hookah side push, and the immediate call to then adapt and push from the hookah balcony was what won Blue Flame Esports the round. They spotted that weakness, overwhelmed the site, and got the pick on the handful of anchors in position to capitalize on it. One of the things to note is with the way you've been having the billiards wall set up from Cryptic Crows, it's far more focused on a player in hookah contesting Aquarium than otherwise. There's not a whole lot of angles that the smoke of the emote could use to try and contest a hookah side push. And that meant that when that hookah overwhelm came and they got the initial pick on the players that were supposed to contest hookah, smoke couldn't do a whole lot. And you saw Shadow just had a tiny rotate hold to try and work out of. The Cool Vibe stairs is really the only point where they were trying to contest that from, and that's not enough when that push comes in. You're going to want some angles set up here, so the smoke playing back here, if that swap happens, can at least contest in towards the door and window a little bit, and your rotates aren't as one note. It was really just down to the echo of Adzi, but you do see this adaptation coming out from Cryptic with Drawnful on the Valkyrie down below, so she will be able to C4 any potential plants. However, they did get droned out, and now Drawnful's going to fall back and possibly into the waiting arms of King on the Lion as he will decapitate the Valkyrie. So good drone work coming out from Blue Flame to Esports there, netting them once again an early man advantage. Shadow's going to take a lot of damage as she tries to peek in to the lobby side door, and she's going to have to fall back, but she has just next to no health now. So a very good start to the round from Blue Flame Esports. This hookah site proving to be very difficult so far, at least for the Cryptic pros. The roam game just not having the contention that they would otherwise want. However, one thing to note now about this defense is Emote and Adzi are both very worried about the hookah side push, which actually has ironically left Aquarium open as the smoke and the echo have swapped their positions. Shadow's going to be getting into a fight, and it's actually going to be Igloo to find the first kill. I'm trying to catch all the action. We can see Names take down Shadow here. I'm trying to figure out where Igloo got this kill. Okay, it was onto Cool Vibe stairs, but where is the mute currently? Alright, from Blue Bar onto Cool Vibes, catching the Twitch, trying to push up onto the site, but Shadow being taken down effectively leaves the mute alone on his roam game. He could possibly still rotate in to try and deny the plant from below, but the smoke is now way out of position to deny an Aquarium side take, and can't even rotate up because Desert has opened up this Hibana hole. Trying to smoke out, I guess, the doorway, expecting a push from there, but ultimately there's nothing there as the hookah call has been made to adjust for Blue Flame. I think they could have had a lot more success had they gone for the Aquarium take now, as they still do have the Echo in position here to deny this, and the smoke is on Cool Vibes, whereas they're completely cut off from denying an Aquarium side push. They don't even have the holes necessary for the Echo to deny it. So this could be what it takes for the Cryptic Pros to win out the round, but King taking down the Echo is going to be a huge pick. But Emote, still on the smoke here, playing Cool Vibes, will get a kill onto Koji, looking to angle in for another onto the Hibana, and he will get the down as the smoke falls back. And Nitrostel still available for Igloo, means that when this plant comes out, if the cams are in position, this could be a C4 denial. Names will get Emote, but they're going to have to commit to the plant now. Pink's coming out. That's an easy C4 denial for the mute, and the Cryptic Crows will win the match. A good attempt there from Blue Flame Esports at the end. I especially liked the way they entered and pinched off the roamers. But ultimately, they made the wrong call. They had completely set themselves up for an Aquarium side take. They had cut off the rotate for the smoke. The smoke was no longer in smoke spot and couldn't rotate back there. The Echo didn't have holes in the wall to work through. Had they gone for the Aquarium side take, it's very likely they would have just won that round. But because they had to funnel in through hookah in the dying seconds of the round, Emote was in perfect position to shut that down there on Cool Vibes. 1-2 gunfights. Didn't matter, they got the refrag, bought more than enough time. And that was an easy closeout from the mute. Good rotating to Sunrise because Cryptic Crows had read into the fact that the hookah take is how Blue Flame like to attack that site, and made sure they could play for a C4 from below. You saw Drawnful in that position earlier in the round. They rotated out after they got droned, got their head decapitated, but a good call to the mute to then rotate down there. I'm going to check what the next map is. Whoops. You guys all got to see my rank. I'm garbage at this game. I can just cast it because I understand the game. I don't have good aim. But, yeah, let's find out the next map. I guess you always haven't seen my rank. It's up in the top. What am I talking about? I hope you guys enjoyed the casting for that first round. But, alright. We have an I don't know and a yes. So I'm going to go with the yes as opposed to the I don't know. Yeah. I have to be a bit more analytical on these casts, as one, it's really hard to do the play-by-play when I can't observe it because I'm garbage. And also, I don't have the background knowledge on either of these teams or these players. The best I know is about Dronful always dying to a boss G in ranked, and Shadow plays Jaeger. That's about all I know about these teams. So I can't really like give you guys background information or anything, but I can work with what's happening in the round that I can cast and try and catch that play by play. And mostly, I just have to focus on analysis and try and break down what's happening in rounds, which again, because I'm the one observing and I'm not great, can be a bit hard as I know I missed a lot of the kills and a lot of the action. It's why I try to keep more focused on the overhead, because at least then we're seeing some stuff and I can talk more about setups. But yeah. For Cryptic Crows, I liked a lot of the in-game adaptation that they were doing, reading into how certain pushes were coming out and making sure that the areas they're contesting were important. On their attacks in particular, they constantly had a plan and they executed it. They made sure they got the vertical control they needed. They pinched together roamers quite effectively, fought for trades, and that's why they went so far up on their attacks. Their defenses, though, you saw a lot of them had a habit of getting isolated and there wasn't that refrag potential. The one that stands out for me there was with Drawnful in Sunrise. Now, that was a good adaptation call to put Drawnful into Sunrise, but uh hold up. But the issue with that is putting him in there by himself, and I know you saw players of Cryptic try and maneuver in to help out in the kitchen, but it's pretty easy to pinch out someone in Sunrise by themselves, which is why he got pinched out. He got droned, tried to rotate out, and got gunned from kitchen door. It's an expected play, and it's a very easy angle then for the Lion to just hold. Also, if you do get droned out in Sunrise and you want to give up on Sunrise, at that point your only real option to rotate out is to rotate up the Cool Vibe stairs, because you are going to get challenged from kitchen or from the long angle from lobby, but most likely from kitchen. And you just have to rotate up Cool Vibes and then try and rotate around. One thing that Cryptic possibly could have done, it didn't matter because they ultimately did win out the round because Blue Flame pushed in from the opposite side, is if you really want to be able to go in for that C4 denial later, you can open up hatches in areas like Aquarium or even Luggage. I wouldn't recommend opening up the site hatch, but the Aquarium and Luggage hatches can be opened up to allow a player to late round flank down there, even if they are up top. It means you can focus more on the office side control and less on trying to contest Sunrise early on to get that C4 denial. And it ended up working out as the Mute was able to retake that position, but it did just cost them. It gave Blue Flame a pretty easy kill at the start of the round. From the side of Blue Flame, I like the adaptation to read that you can push Hookah pretty effectively and stop them on the first attack there, but the issue is that a read like that is a read that you're more than likely gonna have those holes shored up, and then you have to go back to standard takes onto stuff like Aquarium. They had a lot of map control for Aquarium. I don't know if they realized it or not, but they had a lot. Had they droned out the smoke at abandoned smoke position, and in particular the setup of Cryptic Crows didn't have the typical holes that you see on Hookah Wall that enable you to contest the Aquarium, Blue Flame could have gotten an easy Aquarium plant. Maybe the Mute would have denied one person from below because there are holes opened up there, but that's still just one kill in a 4-on-3 situation with two players that are ineffective in the smoke and the echo and will be cut down, as opposed to the smoke being able to pick up a 2-piece before the Mute even has to do anything. Let me ask if Blue Flame is ready. Or, yeah. I might have noticed it and just missed it because I'm still giving the intermittent commentary. But, yeah. Okay, they're ready. All right, let's begin. All right. So Border should hopefully be a very different map for Blue Flames in particular to try and take this back. Because one of the nice things about Border is, one, it's a lot more staple and linear, so there's not a whole lot of crazy new stuff you can do, as opposed to Coastline, which does honestly have changes. But a big point is, because the map is so much more compact compared to Coastline, it's a lot easier to play together and a lot more likely to get refrags. A lot of the angles that you need to contest are known to teams on Border. And you should have a lot less of the catching a roamer on his own without refrag potential in sight that we were seeing happen on Coastline to both of these teams. The Nomad ban coming out once again from Blue Flame is also pretty massive, as Border. It's a map where you can do runouts for days and just ruin people's days. We're going to be seeing the Monty ban being the thing coming out from the side of Cryptic. I didn't ask for sides, now that I think about it. I don't know if they wanted to start defense first or attack first, but I guess it doesn't matter as much. It is just a scrim, not a comp match. But yeah, the Monty ban shows that you just don't want to deal with those kinds of executes, but we never did see Blue Flame run a Monty. So I'm not sure they have strategies in mind with Monty. They may, but with how aggressive a lot of their attacking lineups were, I don't know if Monty is necessarily an operator they like to bring in, as he does favor a few teams that might try and be a bit slower and a bit more methodical. Mirror Meister ban coming out, nothing surprising there. Same things we had on Coastline. Once again, Echo will be in place. The IQ is pretty much going to be mandatory for the attacking side. We're going to be seeing the more supportive operators, although Shadow's likely going to be very aggressive on that Zofia. Shadow was actually previously on the Sledge, so they're going to be dropping the Buck of Igloo and putting him instead on Sledge duty, so Adzi can take up the Ash. So again, a lot of firepower, and Adzi's going to actually swap on over to the Maverick. I like that change because they notice out the Bandit, and now you either need a Thatcher or you need a Mav, so you can easily get control of Armory Wall. Yes, you can bounce frags in with the Sledge, but it's possible that the ADSs are going to be what catches that out. They do, of course, have now stun grenades also available on Hibana and Maverick, or Capitao, and even Zophia's lifelines to contest that. And, of course, you can send Zophia down below. Sledge not as much so, because it's not a Buck in play. But to open that up and deny the Bandit tricking, but nevertheless, it can be a little bit harder, and it does require you to contest some map control, especially if you want to go in from an office side take, which that might be the plan, in which case you really have to get control of a lot of the bottom floor as opposed to the armory take, where you can just send someone in pretty much from the front door. We're going to see a pretty heavy expenditure to the office side, and you can see triple wall being reinforced. No holes being made in these soft walls, so some of those longer angles can't really be contested effectively by Koji or Desert on the Echo. Names on the smoke actually being tasked with solo holding office. Now, one of the things that happens with teams on Border is what's called a 75% hold, and that hold either extends into CC or into the actual office archives, and they're both to contest similar things. CC, though, allows you to more contest the armory wall, which is where you can see Adzi set up now, whereas the office side lets you contest CC directly. But the fact that CC is clear means that it is a lot easier, if Cryptic Crows chooses to do so, to go for an armory wall side take. You can see Igloo trying to set up for the office side control and push out these defenders, and you can see them playing quite close together, with the exception of Slin on the... No, Slin is over there by the Echo, so no one really off on their own here. Now, the fact that Cryptic Crows is a team that likes to run Hibana as opposed to the Thermite means that this armory wall, even when they do eventually open it up, is not going to be something they're going to be able to as easily get through. They won't have the giant hole as opposed that you can just walk through and freely plan. And Thermite's typically a preferred operator. Where the hell did Igloo land this frag grenade? Looks like he tossed it from the window and deleted the Valkyrie playing here on the office side. So an excellent call to take him down, as the bandit was actually trying to trick the office wall. It doesn't really matter as the Hibana isn't even focusing on that. Igloo is going to get one onto names as Shadow deletes Koji, and the office control is completely in the hands of Cryptic Crows. And we're going to actually see the Mav set up inside of Armory. Both sides have just been overwhelmed. Desert gets one, and he tries to go for two as the Mav peeks around. He's actually going to get the second onto Igloo. And so now the Jaeger and the Echo able to work in tandem. At least they were until the Mav took down the Jaeger of Slin. The Echo drone harassing, but that's an easy shutdown from Igloo. None of the utility needed to stop a plant in that position. They actually had that wall soft. So if they weren't both isolated to that corner, it's possible someone could have pushed into office and gone for the wall bang. But ultimately, Cryptic Crows could just walk in despite not clearing any of the real bandit batteries or anything, and just funneling in through the door as they had the defenders completely pinched in. The Echo tried to make some work happen and was able to take down both players on the office side. But when an office push is coming out, playing directly in the offices is pretty risky. We've seen teams do it before, but really when you want to contest office, you play CC. And when you want to contest CC, you play office. And you rotate based on how things are going. And CC is typically just a little bit easier to play when you do want to extend. Putting the smoke so aggressively up into trying to deny CC, the office side is also another decision that can be difficult. In particular, if you really do want to focus more on this office side, then you need to have players playing more in the fountain area and less straight up against the triple wall. Having a bandit and possibly someone to try and cover him just to trick it is fine. But when you read that both the Mav and the Hibana are over on Armory Wall, and you know that because they opened things up and started firing at you, you don't need the bandit tricking. They will not be able to open up this wall. You've seen that they're not running that thermite. And you can just abandon this wall. And also, if they have Mav and Hibana, chances are unlikely that they are running the thermite in general, as you're not going to triple stack on hard breachers. So, you have the Jaeger of Slin now set up in this position that the Bandit was playing previously. He's giving him some ADSs so the Bandit doesn't get naded out when he's trying to trick it. And once again, names pushing up behind the computer monitors, but I would honestly prefer if they reinforced both these fountain walls as well as back fountain walls and played more in this area to get a crossfire established with the Bandit on pushes coming out from either side. Right now, you have crossfires, kind of, but if a player positions from this window, he's got a pretty free pick onto either the smoke peeking him aggressively or the Jaeger, and not as much of a crossfire. But King, with the Ella shotgun, will delete the Maverick. I believe she just swung on the door and the coverage just was not there from the Cryptic Crows to take down the Ella. So good aggressive playmaking coming out from King, and you can see why they banned the Nomad. The Ella pick is unique for really most teams. Ella doesn't see a lot of play after her nerfs, but she can be powerful in these close quarters engagements. The wall will now be opened up, and it's going to be a small hole that the Hibana can use to try and cut off the rotate from Africa. Something that Blue Flame probably wants to do at this point is rotate someone into office, because the moment those angles are really being held and a player can push up into Africa, because there is no one around half wall, you can cut them off, especially with a Capital. You need someone in the office to try and stop things. Shadow on the Ash will delete the Jaeger, getting the first kill for Cryptic Crows. They know about the second player, but the ADSs are going to deny her the chance to flashbang the Bandit, who's just sitting up on this counter, being very effective, as King will take down both players pushing in from the Armory walls. So a good read from the Ella to actually push into the office side, and it pays dividends, shutting down the push and dropping Diffuser. You've lost all of your support and utility players. Igloo, though, will take down Desert, but the Ella on a rampage picks up 4. King now just to find one more onto the Ash of Shadow, who finds herself in a clutch position. She has no stun grenades remaining. She does have some utility in the form of the breaching rounds, and whether she realizes it or not, she has a surprising amount of map control, but she doesn't know about this player behind the monitors. You can see she's looking way too far up, and the Bandit's going to peek around, win out the gunfight. That's Shadow going down, And that's Blue Flamed Esports taking the round. It looks like Shadow actually downed the Bandit in the process. An impressive reactionary shot from Shadow, but the Bandit still landed what he needed to. I think it was a bit more of an aggressive play than strictly necessary from the Bandit, but they knew, I guess, Cryptic was starved for intel and they could position a player there. However, you're still giving Shadow a 1. And while time was on your side, especially once you drop Diffuser, you could have just played inside of Small Office and possibly Africa, Horseshoe, or Metal, or even Half Wall. Half Wall actually would have been really strong, and just denied the attempt to either come up from the Metal or Archive side, or deny the actual attempt to grab Diffuser because you knew it had it downed in sight. Nevertheless, good playmaking from Blue Flamed Esports. The Ella making excellent reads on when and where to strike to do as much damage. That's what I was talking about, rotating a player into this small office, and you deny default plant because you've left this wall soft. Something that the attackers really have to do, if you see this wall is soft instead of reinforced, and it's not been opened up, you need to open it up. I know that sounds counterintuitive because you want to plant in front of it, but you know they're running an Echo, and honestly, it's default plant. They're just going to pre-fire it. So if you have it opened up and you're making those Hibana holes, you can set up your Capitao either on this balcony repel or just in the balcony proper, and he can cut off a player that tries to push into small office. The other option is, of course, putting someone on sandwich before they can rotate into small office, and this is why I was talking about the Ella needs to start making that playmaking into small office. I'm not sure when she rotated, but she definitely rotated it in soon enough, because if you get cordoned into Africa the way they were previously, and then they lost that round, you're not going to be able to get into small office if the attackers set up the proper crossfires. Not without landing some miracle shots. Shadow, coming in aggressively from the eastern stairs, is going to start working on this top floor clear for her team. She has the sledge of Igloo alongside her, and they can start opening things up. But Igloo's going to actually take a little bit of damage from down the hallway. You can see Trip Wall has not been reinforced this time. Those reinforcements wanting to be used elsewhere on the side of Blue Flame Esports. They know about one player inside of Archives, but did Igloo actually see the player behind there? Well, I guess it doesn't matter, as Shadow just deletes the Bandit, and that's going to give the Ash control of the office's side as they now start to push in towards the Archive. Names is still contesting Archives alongside this Jaeger, but it doesn't matter as Shadow just lands another shot. She's going for 3, and it hasn't even been to half the round yet. Jaeger's going to do a lot of damage, but the flashbangs and the frag grenades are going to be putting her in a difficult position. But not until the Ella swings around with that shotgun once more and just deletes the Ash. Drawnful tries to go in for the refrag. He'll do a lot of damage on the Hibana, but it's not quite enough. The sledge has some control of the top floor. I don't know where the Jaeger is. Jaeger is still contesting in Archives, though, and you still have the Ella. No, you don't have the Ella anymore. Okay, but only the Jaeger is in top floor. But Igloo's going to actually be burned out by Emote, a misplaced Capitao Bolt. And things are looking disastrous for the side of the Cryptic Crows. Emote, I don't think he even knows that the Jaeger's still inside of Archives. I don't think the Jaeger's been droned out. Shooting the ADS is going to give away his position. That should be a free kill for Slin once he makes the read to swing around on this Capitao. Emote will just delete Desert, though, so it is a 2v2. Still no call coming out from Blue Flame for him to swing just quite yet. But now he sees the Capitao. He'll cut him down. ADZ, he has to push in and take this Jaeger to make it a 1v1 against the Ella. He knows where the Jaeger is, and the Jaeger's going to peek into him. So this is a winnable situation because no call was made after the Capitao bolts came firing in for the Jaeger to swing then. So Capitao was able to get a kill. Capitao also has the range advantage with his automatic weapon against an Ella. Well, there's a shotgun playing all the way off on the other side, but the pings coming out dissuade the Thatcher on the plant. These walls are all soft, so we could see the wallbang come out from the Ella, and that's going to be an easy kill. That's another one of those things about paying attention to what's soft and what isn't. When you see walls like that are soft, even if holes haven't been made, when they're running that much intel, you have to play around it, making sure you're not setting yourself up in a position where you can be wallbanged like we just saw. There are plenty of plant positions on that site that don't expose you to soft walls. It looked like Cryptic, though, was just very starved for intel on where this Ela even was. So it's possibly might have been afraid. Well, it wouldn't have been something afraid from a top attack, because that's still an awful position to try and plant from top control. You could try and maneuver into the actual server rack, planting on that table, which is something we frequently see, in which case you're exposed to a swing from a doorway, which you might hear, or just from a peek from hatch. But because they win 2 defenses, they get to go to a tertiary site here on the border, and that's going to be customs for the side of Blue Flame. We're likely going to be seeing a lot of vertical contention once again coming out from Blue Flame Esports, as this really isn't a site that you can play without having people up above. And while King has had a lot of success here on the Ela, this is going to be a much harder site because of how long the angles are that the defense has to contest here. Ela is fantastic for a lot of armory and ventilation contention because there's all these narrow choke points that you can contest. That's not as much the case here on this top, or on this open area, or this customs defense, sorry. And I'm curious to see where King decides to play as a result. You do have the castle set up, so they do know that they want to contest CCTV, and you're going to have Ash once again entering in from the eastern stairs by Shadow. Both these doors being opened up in quick succession, the drone's coming out for the Ash so that she's not going to be going in blind, and these exterior castle barricades are going to be really easy for Cryptic Crows to take out because we know they run a sledge every single round who will get an easy kill onto Names. He was trying to contest in case a breach charge was placed up on that castle barricade, but you know they're running the Ash, you know they run this sledge. Breach charge isn't going to be placed on it. They even have nades because of the fact that they run the sledge. So that's a risky angle to take, and it's going to cost him his life. Sun's going to actually take a lot of damage here on the Archives contestant as well. I'm not entirely sure where that came from. It's likely that was the Thatcher of Adsy. No. Let's see, who's there? Oh, Kings. Landing a beautiful headshot onto the Thatcher with the pistol. I guess you can take long-range engagements with the Elo when you're King. And Koji getting a second onto Emote will swing this round into Blue Flame Esports' favor, as they're just struggling to get this top floor control. But there's only one player contesting what matters, and Shadow coming in will take down Slin. Koji gets the instant refrag go, so they are playing together there well. But the Ela trying to swing out, she had to make an aggressive play as the only person holding CC, and that's going to be her demise. The 2 remaining players of Cryptic Crows now has all the top floor control they could ever want, and they do still have the Sledge and the Hibana to make it work with. Koji still off on an island all by himself as he tries to contest Archives on his own, leaves Desert as the only player on site. If he gets droned out, the Sledge can really easily lock down his positions, and a plant on the window can be very likely from the side of Cryptic Crows. And they do drone out the Echo, as the Legion trying to go for the long flank to drop down and join his teammate. Not even going to contest up tears. That's probably the right call at this point, as you don't want to be pinched out. That's going to be a free kill for the Sledge of Igloo, taking down the Echo of Desert, who had been drawn out in his position previously. That leaves it all up to Koji, and his own barricades are going to be working against him. He's throwing out goo mines, but that's really just going to give away his position. But it does at least prevent the player from swinging on him from the doorwell. He thinks the default plant was going down by the window, but indeed it's going to actually be a password side default plant, as Koji now has to walk into a crossfire. He seems to have good game sense to at least know that the Sledge is inside a small office, but the pre-fires through the walls will not connect. Dronful will show face, so Koji should know the positions of both players right now as he swings across. Does he see the leg of the Hibana? Indeed he does. That's going to be the pistol to take her down. And no peeking out from Igloo, but it doesn't matter as he's just holding the angle passively on Koji. Things looked a little bit dicey there for the Crows towards the end, as they were not working together in that final 2-on-1, giving the Legion his ones, but ultimately it did not matter. Really, it's a similar thing that I've been seeing on Coastline, where Blue Flame Esports, yes, they are contesting other portions of the map, but it doesn't seem like they're as well versed in what they want to contest and why you contest it, because a lot of these areas that are being contested aren't as necessary. Shadow cleared Archives to try and deny some of the long angles towards CC and make the push into CC easier and possibly get a pick or 2 in the process, but really the Crows didn't have to. Because there was only one player left in CC because the castle got very aggressive on his own barricades that were placed on exterior as opposed to interior areas that are harder to remove. It was just the Ella who has only a shotgun to try and contest CCTV with. Now, Ella landed a beautiful shot with the pistol, do not get me wrong. But she's not the operator you want trying to solo hold CCTV by any means, especially not with the shotgun as opposed to the Scorpion, which can take some of the more long-range engagements. So, it was pretty easy for the members of Cryptic Control to take her out, and once you have that top floor control on open area, the site falls apart. Legion wanted to rotate back and join his teammate of the Echo, who was in a very dangerous position because once you get droned out there, you are stuck. You know the jail wall hasn't been open, so that is pretty much one of the few kind of safe areas you can get into, but even that can be opened up from above. Legion really needed to rotate into server sooner or try and play for contention up top because you know that they're going to be focusing on CCTV. You can possibly push into Fountain and try and make a bit of an impact coming up this 90 wall towards the late portion of the round. But yeah, it's just a tough hole to do once you've lost control of the top floor. We're once again seeing this extension into the archives, but with no CCTV contention or Fountain contention, it might be free pickings once again for Shadow and Sledge if they played this properly. There are frag grenade tosses you can do to completely deny this position that you can see the Legion set up in, even if ADSs are in play. And the Thermite being brought out by Cryptic Crows is huge, as this is going to allow them to have a lot more flexibility pushing both sites and makes this trip wall so easy to take care of, so easy to push into. And I believe that's going to prompt the fallback. Koji's going to actually drop through the hatch, but he will get droned out. Actually doesn't realize that the drone didn't see him, so there wasn't a necessary. It wasn't necessary to push it. I'm curious where Names got this kill. It looks like he killed the Ash trying to solo entry into the passport side. Possibly trying to clear out the pulse, but again, solo entering like that, you're going to get killed, and there's not going to be a chance for a refrag, because that is just taking a ones. I would have wished that if they want to clear out the pulse, send a couple other people out, because pulse is important to clear, and once you clear him out, you can clear out Koji, who's just trapped in tellers right now. Whether or not the Crows realize it, one person on hatch and one person playing either on the window or just pushing in from passport could completely deny him. The first Capital Bolt is going to be used to deny this play on the archive side, and it looks like it is going to be an archives focused take. They're not going to try and rotate over to armory or anything like that, but the pulse still being in play of Names is going to provide a lot of intel and possible denial to the side of Blue Flamed. Koji gets a free one as the Sledge tries to peek him from somewhere. Was that on the hatch? Or was that from the window or something? That was from the hatch. He tried to peek him from the hatch by himself. And finally, Emote will answer back, taking down the Ella from the window. Catching his cross, but Slin's going to take down Adzi and get a second for himself as the Thermite was left on their own. Pushing in from the archive side. Capital just the only one left on the ventilation window. This round is pretty much done and dusted if you're the Cryptic Crows. Blue Flame Esports showing a lot more strength and life here on border compared to what they had on coast. That's going to be an easy cleanup for Slin. And that's the round. From the side of Cryptic Crows, we had good early control in terms of getting that wall open with no pressure, but then their primary fragging power in the form of Shadow wasn't used in coordination with Igloo at all to clear either below or clear the players playing inside of the archives. You can also set up a drone on that little, I don't know the word for it, that little alcove thingy that's in the top of the roof, like 8 windows in a circle that BC likes to throw nades from. You can set a drone in there and give your Sledge a free nade once you burn the ADSs. You have a Thatcher who can possibly blow them or destroy them just from the wall, or if they are placed properly distance away, you have plenty of flashbangs available. Or at least you should have some in the form of, yep, you have it on your Hibana, and you have it on your Ash. While the Capital could carry it, you have 6 sets of flash. You can burn out every single ADS in the map. And then you can chuck in the frag grenades and just deny that position entirely. At which point, once you've denied that position up here, it becomes a lot simpler and a lot more efficient to clear this out because they're not playing Fountain, they are not playing CCTV. These areas just aren't in play. So if you pinch out the roamers that are playing here, they are left toothless as you go for the site push, and indeed that ventilation windows hold, if you are going for an archive side push, will just shut them down. I like the swap to the Thermite because it made things a lot easier. Thermite is probably the strongest hard breacher on this map, but it looks like they are going to be going back to the Hibana, focusing more on angles as opposed to getting that easy clear that you get on a lot of the site. Koji in a bit of a dangerous position, just solo roaming here by Archives. If Igloo drones him out, this could be a free kill for the Sledge. I don't even think he has an ADS to work with. As, yeah, he's just playing on the hatch. He will get droned out, but a bit of inefficient droning because they don't properly hear him means that the drone will be lost in the process. The frag grenade could be thrown out into the window above him, and we'll see if that's what Igloo decides to do. But it's a bit late as he just continues firing off shots, and the Legion is just going to take the prompt to fall back to Fountains. Slin is now here to assist him, so he's not on his own anymore, and the pre-fires through the wall will scare the Legion out. Actually, he's going to get aggressive. We could see a swing coming from Koji, but he's going to give away his position. If this triple wall was open, Koji's a dead man. And indeed, there goes the open. But Names is actually going to get the first kill of the round onto the Sledge and actually get a second onto Adzi, who's just not working with the Ashe to get the refrag. She will finally, but now Ashe has to solo clear out this player that is set up inside of the Archives, and it won't be the case as Koji wins out that gunfight pretty handedly, and there's the execution. So good teamwork coming out from Blue Flame, reading into the push that was being employed by Cryptic Crows to do their roam clear and realizing that they had a lot of safe positions they could still play and rotating members in to help. You saw the Valk come up these stairs, cutting off this hallway alongside the Legion, and of course Slin playing on top of this little bookshelf that I can never climb up to, and giving a crossfire alongside his Legion. So I really like the team play on display from Blue Flame Esports here on Border. It leaves it up once again to the two support players of Cryptic Crows to try and make something happen, as the Hibana just has to solo clear Capitao. Nowhere in the map to help her out. And Yokai Drone, Ella, and of course Slin here playing by Horseshoe. Hibana never stood a chance, as it leaves it all up to the Capitao, who has finally rotated in because he has to. That's not a gunfight he's going to win, and Blue Flame Esports going up 4-2 on their defensive set. Can they bring that same sort of team play to their attacks that we saw on display here on Border, or is it going to falter? We did see their attacking set be a lot stronger on Coastline, so it is possible that they are going to play a little better. Bathroom Tellers being the first site coming out from Cryptic Crows is fascinating, as not a lot of teams like to go there first or at all. It's a tertiary site for some teams like Vitality, but it's a tough site to hold. It relies entirely on the top floor control, which can be even harder if you don't have a Mira. And beyond that, it's a site that once top floor control is lost, just like Customs, the site is lost. It is almost impossible to try and retake onto that site if you don't have top floor control. I want to see how they set this up. So yeah, they're sending all 5 members upstairs for their setup, which is fine. But one thing I want to see them do is these soft walls that you see set up on the downstairs floors, these typically need to be opened up to create the kill box necessary on the teller's side in order to properly hold it. What I'm also curious about is if they want to extend to Workshop at all, or to have that late round rotate into Bathroom. We're seeing all of the holes being opened up in the top floor that are necessary, and the Bandit of Igloo is going to make Trip Wall a bit more of a pain to remove, and you can see the Armory Wall also being reinforced, so they do it properly expand out to defend this site, and they have, of course, the castle barricades to deny lines of sight. But yeah, they're not making any of these holes in the floor and the walls down below, which means if attackers can get control of top floor, or at least push you out and then push into the site, you can't stop them on the retake. You have to retake top floor, which is tough. You can't just deny plant, which is typically right here in this corner just from the walls that you see that are all soft around it. So that could prove to be detrimental later in the round. They are going to be going for an armory clear first on the side of Blue Flamed Esports. As you can see, I believe all 5 members set up there, minus the Buck, who's trying to clear in from down below and apply some pressure onto Emote on the mute. It's going to do a lot of damage. He's going to prep a frag grenade, which if properly cooked, will delete Emote from play. He knows about the mute's position, and he's just trying to open up more holes to make his life hell. Emote, also talking about those holes, is going to give some pings to his teammates, letting them know that he needs reinforcement down below. And you can see Adzi on the castle. That's his job. He needs to swing on Names when Names isn't expecting it to try and take this down. But meanwhile, Shadow will take down Kings. And you can see there Adzi getting the refrag. The calls coming out from the side of the Cryptic Crows. Shadow pushing in, getting a kill onto the Ash as she tries to push in from the thermite hole that was opened up. It was on a bit of the wrong side, and that's what made it so easy for that kill to happen. Slyn, though, getting a kill onto the castle as he tried to rotate up and contest into CCTV. A bit of a ill-advised rotate and contestation, as at that point you really don't need to reclaim CCTV control, as you do still have a really strong hold on armory. Here's my issue with the thermite wall. When you open up this angle, yes, it gives you a long angle into a player trying to push up from Africa, but your entrance from Africa is lost, and it's going to be even harder as Slyn is taken down trying to push into 90 hallway by the bandit of Igloo, who I believe was still set up by the triple wall east stair side. Indeed, he's gone all the way back down to sight now. So what I meant about this thermite, when you open up this angle, the line of sight you have cuts off Africa, which is fine. But you can't enter without being peeked from Africa. Emote's going to get a kill onto Desert, and leaves it all up to Koji, and he's going to be shut down pretty easily from Shadow, and there's my point. Because he had to wide swing there, he can't enter from there. And you see, Shadow can easily see him entering in there. He knows when the thermite's coming, or she knows when the thermite's coming in. That's a free kill for the Jaeger. If you want to make that an angle, you use the Hibana or a Maverick, and then you have an angle from the balcony that you used to cut off Africa. If you want to make it an entrance, you blow up the wall next to it. Now you have an entrance that is still shielded, or you enter from the door, which again is a bit tougher, especially when you know the soft walls haven't been opened up at all, so you have a lot more safety trying to enter there. But really just the armory tag completely stalling out from the side of Blue Flamed Esports. I like the idea there, but Buck needs support to make that plan work. Buck is the most intrinsic part to clearing out that armory hold in that particular push, because he makes it impossible for Emote to do anything. Either your attackers for pushing from armory need to push in faster and kill Emote before the Buck gets flanked, because the call was made, or Buck needs flank drones that someone is watching, which are set up either in set up in server and by the store frame. That way, he knows he's not going to get flanked, and he can buck to his heart's content because someone is watching those flank drones, or the Buck should watch them periodically every time he takes a shot and opens something up. Still, I like the basic principles in play from Blue Flamed Esports. It just really needs to be tightened up to make that push work, and when you have the mute distracted like that, someone needs to be pushing in. And you need to isolate players playing by the sandwich area, which means you need to contest this window on sandwich. So you can cut off a push up from Africa, or you put someone on the balcony and completely cut off the Africa push, because that is a long angle. And I don't think Shadow's winning that gunfight, especially not if someone comes in from the wall or the door and can swing on Shadow the moment she goes for that push and shut her down. Emote's not going to be a problem because of your Buck. However, the offsite working out for Cryptic Crows means that they can go to the standard site now of Armory. Looks like Blue Flame just wasn't really prepped also for how they like to clear out that top floor roam when attacking into Bathroom Tellers, as you do want to put more focus on the office side for that style of push. Again, something they could have read was they open up these back walls because they don't have the holes in the bottom floors to contest. They open this up, force a player off of this hatch. They can just send someone in from Passport, which you drone it properly, jump in through that window, and they win. Adzi landing a beautiful shot with the Echo, and Shadow landing another onto Slyn is going to shut down the attempted push. That was actually a run out from Slyn. The Thatcher also going down as Adzi and Drawnful are just shutting down the attempted office side push. Adzi getting another on the Echo, and that leaves it all up to names. He's going to get one onto Dronful, but Adzi's there to shut him down. A huge round from the Echo. And Blue Flame Esports just looking lost. They're not pushing properly together, and they're not pinching out and setting up the lines of sight that you really need to make that work. If you're going for an office side push, you know someone's going to be playing inside a fountain, most likely. You saw they left trip wall completely uncontested, so that should be opened up immediately by your Buck Sledge. And now that you have that opened up, you can start contesting some of those angles. Instead of funneling them in from the windows, which is the easiest contestation, we'll have to see what sort of adaptations come out from Blue Flame in order to contest the attacks coming out from CC. Cryptic Crow's just proven to be the more dominant side here on the attacks, at least, or on their defense now, compared to their attacks. But yeah, they're going to now be going down to their, what I'm assuming is their secondary site, and that's going to be Ventilation Workshop. They did win Bathroom Colors as their initial site, but I imagine that was just an off pick to try and catch people off guard. I hope when they launch this VOD back, Koji realizes that that statement isn't correct, or this map is linear, but they're not employing the linear strats. And that's what I'm talking about a lot with these angles. I'm kind of giving you guys a VOD review, less of a cast. But yeah, I guess they'll see. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope this is helpful. I can't catch everything, but I'm trying to comment on what I do catch because I'm a terrible observer, and hopefully that's being useful to you guys as a team. You can see Blue Flame coming in from the Valley side as their primary point of ingress. The Ash opening up and taking control of East Stairs, as we saw Shadow doing previously from Cryptic Crows. Adzi playing really aggressively in this Archive side. He does have one reinforcement that he can work with, and an ADS as well, as they don't want to actually put anything on the triple wall. They're just hoping that Adzi can work off of intel and game sense to make plays on anyone going for the triple wall. You can see all these holes opened up in Ventilation Workshop to deny things from above. They actually reinforce the bathroom side hatches. They don't want that used against them, which depends on how you want to play it, really. And you have the Pulse as the only one on site designed to give intel to his upstairs roamers. Once again, you see the western wall being opened up by the Thermite. And again, that's going to cause the same sort of problem they had before. Emo detonating a gas canister to cover his rotate back. And you can hear a Nitro Cell being prepped. I believe that was Dronful's. Igloo's going to land the first kill onto Kings. And I swapped to him just a bit too late to actually see the angle employed. And you can see the Nitro Cell of Dronful has been used, but I don't think it's been detonated just quite yet. Now, there was a player, that's, I believe, names on the Zofia. He's pushing up the eastern stairs to try and pinch this out. And Desert's going to actually get the pick onto Shadow, who's supposed to stop names. This gives Blue Flame free entrance to now pinch out the Smoke, who will rotate up and not connect enough shots with the Zofia. The shotgun blast comes out, but the refrag is there as the Zofia starts to withstand. But Adzi coming in to help out his teammate means that the Smoke will actually not be killed. So good teamwork from the side of Cryptic Crows. Blue Flame Esports now left in a 2v3. Thatcher was able to get a pick shortly after onto the Smoke, finishing off what little was left of Emote's health. And now they have the top floor control, but they don't have the operators needed that they wanted up here. Namely, they don't have any soft destruction really left, as neither the Thatcher... Actually, the Thatcher is running breach charges. They still have some, but they don't have a lot of time. And these EMPs are useful to try and take out ADSs or mute jammers who like placed below, but there aren't going to be any based on the operators here. It is possible he's trying to catch the Pulse's scanner, or just covering up his sound. Either way now, Blue Flame Esports, they're going to have to try and turn this into an actual push. And without a hard breacher left in play, it's going to be tough as they now have to funnel in. Recharge being applied to the castle barricade to give them their push in, but you can see that bathroom wall is reinforced, so that doesn't matter. Thatcher's going to be downed out and finished off by Igloo. Slyn tries to take the one against the castle, but he's just going to have to save the op at this point, if there is no hope. 3 different crossfires being held by the remaining 3 members of Cryptic Crows. pretty much once you lost the thermite up top, there was not a lot of hope pushing in towards the end because you can't open up the bathroom wall, which is what you need to open now that you've cleared out the top floor like that. At best, you could try and do something from the window, but it's likely would have been taken out by any form of denial still in Cryptic Rose's hands, although I do think they actually used up pretty much all their denial. The smoke was taken out, the bandit wasted, or the pulse had already used up his nitro cell, so they might not have had anything to deny you there, in which case they have to just land the shot. And you can actually kind of cover that from above. Now, it's a tough situation to be in because if you place one person off on their own and one person to go for the plant without the coverage from above, it's very easy for a defense to stop that. But ultimately, that's kind of the move you have to make at that point in a 2-on-3 with very little time remaining and absolutely no utility that's strictly necessary. You place a player up top here. They can cover pushes in from either one of these doors, trying to swing on a planter that's planting near the window, and also, more importantly, cover this rotate using vertical holes that are open up above. If you try and put them on the window, chances are pretty good that anyone that tries to come in from the rotate hole will get the kill pretty easily, but it's not 100%. Whereas from above, you can try and cut that off a little bit more, but again, it's a tough situation to be in either way. We're going to see bathroom tellers coming out once again from the side of Cryptic Pros. You're going to see the same sort of defense set up above. I want to see if Blue Flame Esports noticed the flaw in this defense, which is the lack of kill holes down below. And they might, as it looks to just be a full send down below, not even contesting up above. You can see Adzi has rotated into Workshop, but this might be his death as he's on all his own. There's no chance for a refrag as they're just take him down. All the map control that Blue Flame Esports could want in their hands as Koji lands another. Shadow will finally get a refrag on to King, but Desert is there to shut her down. And things are looking really good for Blue Flame Esports here as they start to push in from the Workshop side straight into Bathroom. There are still some holes set up above, and you can see the smoke of Drawnful is going to choke out the Zofia. But he's going to have to contest these holes, and holes work both way. Igloo gets one onto Desert, but now it's up to Drawnful in a 1v3. He's not going to last long. His name guns him down from below with the pistol on the Zofia. So this is the kind of read I was talking about. A bit more aggressive because they didn't care about the holes nearly as much, but when you don't have the holes in the side walls, that means any sort of retake and stoppage of that kind of push has to be done from above. And when it's done from above, especially in a low man count situation, that is a tough play to make. It's very, very likely then that you're just going to be pinched off in those ones. You will get one kill in the process and then be taken out. It's a hard spot to find yourself in. Whereas if you have the holes in the walls down below, your roamers now actually have an option. They can rotate over towards more of the customs areas and deny those plants through the walls. And basically turning the site into a kill box. It's one of the most intrinsic parts of actually defending bathroom tellers, is making sure that any roamer that is up top can, if they lose the control that they necessarily want, can rotate down here and deny tellers completely just by rotating down east stairs if there's no one playing this balcony. And of course, once you rotate there and you deny any plants into the teller's side, that means they're focused on bathroom, which Drawnful and playing those holes above can actually do a lot of damage on bathroom. Ultimately, when you're in a 1v3 though, as smoke, no matter how many holes you have up above, you have to land just beautiful shot after beautiful shot. Eventually, someone's going to land a shot in return. But it buys a lot of time for the smoke and gives the chance to rotate then and try and pinch off via Workshop because you know they're trying to go for that bathroom side. However, that was a tertiary site on the side of Cryptic Crows. So, I'm not sure. I don't think they're too fussed about losing that. They still have their two primary sites, which they are currently undefeated on, in order to try and defend. You can see the CC take being employed from Blue Flame Esports, and Emote and Igloo are going to be working in tandem to defend it. Normally, you see the Jaeger and an ACOG in this position to try and assist, as opposed to the Pulse, who'd be better served down below to give intel. Especially, but Shadow on the Jaeger is still going to assist his teammates and then rotate into CC. Really good read and a call from Cryptic Crows, and they're just gonna line him up one after the other. It looks like Blue Flame just can't get control of the site. The Twitch of Slin is going to lose a Twitch drone, and once again we see Desert and Slin in a 2vx situation. The Thatcher and the Twitch being the only two left. We'll have to see if they have a bit more success this time around. Shadow trying to go for the jump out, and a bit of an ill-advised jump out, but they had the man advantage for it. The thing is, at this point though, they don't want to get any more aggressive. Especially when you have this many C4s, you know you've killed their hard breach, which they actually weren't even running. So I guess they didn't realize they killed their hard breach, but they should know the operators in the lineup now. Desert's going to get a pick onto Emote, and now Igloo's the only one left in CCTV as he's trying to rotate to give a crossfire alongside the Rook. But this is dangerous for Cryptic Crows as the Rook gets pinched out. Desert's going to get a... Wow. Never mind. I was going to say Desert should get the refrag. But, no, it didn't happen as Desert just 180ing on the Thatcher and ending his day. Wow. Damn, Igloo. Damn. Anyway, what I was gonna say, it didn't matter because Igloo's a god, apparently, but in that sort of situation, once you have those picks, you know they're not running a hard breach. Hard breach is why you can test CCTV so long, because you want to make the hard breach's life impossible for either the office side take or the armory wall side take. You don't have to contest CCTV that hard once you're in a 5-on-2, especially not when you have a pulse. You can rotate your nitro cells down below, have the Rook join the Echo, and have some long angles you can play on site, and the attackers aren't getting in. Because they contested CCTV so hard, you saw them get isolated and pinched. Igloo had to win some impressive ones there to save his team from evening out in man advantage. So, good stuff from Igloo on the Rook, winning out those gunfights, but a dangerous position to throw yourself into as a team once you get the control that you had. You want to contest CCTV basically for a long-ass time, but you don't want to contest it indefinitely. No team contests it indefinitely. And once the hard breach is out of the picture, or in this case, as you saw, you know they don't have a hard breach, or really a 5v2 is more than enough reason. You can rotate your pulse and just play down below alongside the bandit, and now you have two C4s that are just ready to deny a plant attempt. And you have an Echo with his Yokai drone. They're not planting. That's game, set, match. But it's a game match. It's going to be match point now as they go for a ventilation workshop defense. There's only one round, though, that's going to prevent Blue Flame from actually getting a push to overtime. And you can see Igloo off on his own. If he gets droned out, a player can just set up on this balcony, and Igloo has no rotate. But Adzi, just using the holes that were opened up inside of the office, they read into this Teller's push, and doesn't look like the Valk got droned. That is a free kill onto the Thatcher. That's diffuser dropped. As far as I'm concerned, the Valk doesn't even need to contest this any longer. She's in a dangerous position. She does have Shadow to play alongside the Valkyrie to help them out. But yeah, they're going to get deleted. Shadow, though, does peek in for the refrag, so Names won't get out of that unscathed, but Shadow going for the repeak, a bit ill-advised, is going to actually even out man count. So I think that was a dangerous position. As soon as you get that early pick there, you don't really need to contest that as much longer. If you do contest it, Shadow gets the refrag, bail out of there. At that point, focus more on contesting the rest of the archive side and less of the office side, but ultimately, they got a lot of good out of that. Now, one thing that contesting tellers like that has done is it makes it safe for Drawnful to play here on the bathroom side. So if Koji tries to open up these walls, although, are they reinforced? No, they are not, so they actually can just send a breach charge onto that. So one thing, though, if they want to play that, wow, Emote landing a C4, I believe, on the Pulse's intel vertically, and that's going to delete the Twitch and really set up Cryptic Crows nicely. But yeah, one thing you can do if you want to play a Pulse and have him rotate into bathroom, reinforce these two walls, and now the Pulse will take down the Thermite if it tries to open it up. Speaking of a Thermite, he has to be using one of his charges now to open things up vertically because they just don't have a lot of options. And the Jackal, on his own here in CCTV, he's just gonna... he could potentially get caught off guard. I like the patience on display from the side of Cryptic Crows. They're going to get another kill rewarded for their patience as Igloo then picks up another on Hikoji. And that's going to be game, set, match for the Cryptic Crows. Decent stuff from both sides' defenses. There were definitely holes that can be adapted for later. But yeah, at the end of the day, the really big thing that gave Cryptic Crows these victories over their counterparts, say in Blue Flame Esports, was the fact that they just were working more as a cohesive unit. You had people constantly coming in for refrags. Also, shout out to Drawnful, the guy that I know, Nigel. Not even getting an assist that round. Just a garbage player. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. I could break things down longer, but I kind of don't want to. It's already gone long on enough. I know I rambled a bit. Not my best cast, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's more of a VOD review than a cast, but yeah. But yeah. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed. Adios. I should end this recording.